Hey everybody, it's Jason Creel, and today I gave 5 quotes out for new potential lawn care customers. And what's significant about that is, 1, it's early January, the time of this video. 2, I don't think I've given 5 quotes out in the past 5 months, and I gave 5 out today. And so I want to accomplish a couple things in this video. 1, I want to talk to you about why I think I got 5 potential new customers today, or was able to quote 5 different yards. Just kind of what's going on in the industry to make that happen. And then I want to actually go through each individual customer with you of these 5 and talk to you a little bit about their situation, how I handled the situation, how I priced it, which ones I think I'm going to get, which ones I don't think I'm going to get, and why in my observations. And hopefully this will help you in your own business as well. So let's get started right now. All right, so I'm serious. I really don't think I have quoted 5 yards in the past 5 months, and then I get 5 today. So what happened? Well, it's early January. We actually had snow yesterday in Alabama, which was a little bit crazy, but I get out there today, and I've been off since for over a month. I finished my lawns before Thanksgiving, day before Thanksgiving, and I've been off until now, early January. So I'm starting back. Round 1, I feel refreshed. Feel good, kind of excited about starting the new year. Went up on my prices, and that went pretty well. And just ready to get back out there and make something happen. So what happened? Why did I get so many calls today on new customer? Or not so many. I mean, 5 in March is not crazy. 5 in April is not crazy. 5 in May is not crazy. 5 in early January was a little bit surprising because, like I said, I had basically no calls. Well, I think what happened is this. The cost of fertilizer in our industry has gone up significantly. Over the past couple of years, it's gone up, and it's projected to go up significantly this year. And so what's happening is a lot of my competitors have raised their prices. Now, I raised my prices also. I don't know how much they raised their prices. I know what I did. I know what I did in my business and how much I raised my prices. I'm not sure what my competitors did, but according to one of these potential new customers today, it seemed like it was pretty significant. And so it kind of hit me as I was getting these leads for new customers. I said, you know what, I think I'm going to have a busy spring, because I think with people raising prices, they're going to find out, one, is that their company is not the only one that raised prices, that most everybody's raising prices. But if they were kind of on the fence of whether or not to keep that company or not, and then they go up, and if they go up significantly, it's just a good time for them to leave that company and look for somebody else. Now, where I've got to be careful is price it where I need to be. Like I said, I raised my prices too. And on the new customers, the price is higher than it would have been last year. And so I got to make sure that I don't just look at it as an opportunity to go in there and get a customer. I want to make sure I price it right and make sure it's the right customer for my business. But I really believe it's going to be super busy this spring. I think there's going to be a lot of transitioning. Maybe some of my customers are going to switch to a new company. Maybe a lot of these other companies are going to switch. And for me, being a solo operator, I really only have so many spaces available. And that's fine. I have, several hundred customers already. So I want to be very selective on which ones I take on. And I want to make sure it's a good fit for me. So with that being said, just understand this may be true for your business too. Even if you're mowing lawns or doing weed control, if people go up, there might be a good bit of transition this year, more than usual. And so anyway, I'm going to tell you what I've done, how I handled these 5 situations, where the leads came from, which ones I think I'm going to get. So customer number 1. Now, he actually texted me a couple of days ago. I just went and looked at his yard today. So this is somebody that I know personally, and I was doing his yard for, and he sold his house and was moving into a new house. I was pretty excited about that, one, because the old house was a foreclosure, a big yard on a hill, nasty yard, and just problems. And anyway, I just did it last year. I think I did 2 treatments on it or something, and he sells the house. And he tells me he's moving. Well, now he moved into a neighborhood where I was already established, and it's small lawns. And so it went from a big yard to a small yard, and that was actually good with me. And so I quote him. It's not just a perfectly ideal situation because even though it's small, it is kind of broken up a little bit. It's got a pool in the back with a fence, and there's a little bitty slip of grass right behind the pool, and there's a little bit of hills. I mean, you know, it's not just a perfect flat square with nothing in it. But again, a small yard, profit margins are good. I have no concerns about him as a customer. I know he's going to be a great customer. So I give him the price over the phone. He says, yeah, I'm sure that's good. Let me talk it over with my wife. I said, I tell you, he wants to go ahead and pay for the year with a 5% discount. I send over the bill. I say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and send you the bill. If it gets paid, I'll know that's a yes. If it doesn't get paid, I'll know. I'll take that as a no. About lunchtime, he texts me, he said, hey, we paid your bill. He not only paid the bill, but he gave me like a $30-something tip on the bill, which was awesome. And so I got him signed up and doing a full program on his yard, small yard, and paid for the year with a tip. So that's customer number one. That was an easy one. Customer number two calls me. Now when they call, I'm assuming he got my number off the internet. So I talk about a lot about, you know, having your website, having it rank on Google and things like that. So I get a lot of leads off the internet. And so he calls me, and he lives in my town. I have about 80% of my customer base is in the city I live in. I don't live in that big of a city, but a pretty tight route. So he calls, and I say, hey, where do you live? He says, I live in your town. So that's great. I live in my town too. And so I ask him what neighborhood he's in. He tells me. I say, oh, okay, that's down there off of this road. He's like, yeah. So I go, when he's telling me that, I'm sitting here thinking, because I really don't even cover my entire town. I'm trying to just have such a tight route. I have kind of a cutoff. Well, there's this one road that goes for about, I'm gonna say 8 miles. And I go about halfway down that road in any neighborhoods, you know, halfway down that road. But beyond that, I really don't go any further than that. Well, I look him up on Google Maps, and he's about 3 minutes past my furthest customer. And so I had to say in my mind, am I going to go 3 more minutes in that direction? And you may say, Jason, well, you wouldn't drive 3 more minutes. Well, you know, again, I'm almost at max capacity for what I can handle solo. I'm not looking to add a second truck this year. And so I'm going to be very selective. Well, I said, I'm going to go look at it. So I go look at it. It's in a neighborhood I'm actually familiar with. Fairly large yards. I'm going to say this one was like 7,500 square feet or something. That may not be big for your area, but it's a little bit on the larger side, at least for what I'm typically dealing with. And I think the same thing's happening. You pull up on his yard, there's hardly any weeds, so I know he's had it treated. Same situation. He gets something that tells him the price is going up, and they start shopping around. So, but I've got to be careful. I've got this competitive nature. I want to get the yard, but I don't want to get it at a lower price. I got to keep reminding myself, like, don't drop your price just to get it. Make sure you price it right. So I measure the yard. The customer is there in person, which I love because I want to talk to him about the yard, talk to him about my program, what I'm doing. Measure, give him the price. He thanks me for my time. He's kind of contemplating it. My gut feeling is he's probably going to get multiple quotes and will let me know. You know, usually when you don't close the deal on the spot, your chances of getting it go drastically down. So I'm going to give myself maybe a 30% chance of getting this. But I've texted him the information. He has my contact info if he wants to get back in touch with me. And I didn't want to compromise because, like I said, I'm actually driving 3 minutes past my previous border, okay? My previous furthest destination, I was going down this one road. So I'm extending myself. Yeah, it's only 3 minutes. I understand that. But it wasn't a terrible yard. It was flat and then some benefits to it. And it was in good shape, not covered with weeds. But when they call you and they want to switch, oftentimes they're not happy with the price they're giving, so you got to be a little bit concerned in that situation. If he's just price shopping, he may not be a good fit. So hopefully I'll get that one. I'm waiting to hear back, and we'll see what happens. While I'm looking at that yard, or shortly after, I have somebody else text me, somebody I know personally. And the way, if you have like a personal friend or family member, the way I typically handle it, I almost never ask them for their business. They know what I do. If they want to hire me, I'll let them initiate it because I don't want any kind of awkward business relationship. You know, if they feel comfortable hiring me, great. If they don't, I'm not going to put any pressure on them. Well, this guy knows exactly what I do, and he's mentioning before about possibly hiring me one day. And I think just being the beginning of the year was a good time for him to do that. So he texts me, he says, hey, I want to hire you this year. And I do the yard across the street from him, things like that. I said, I'll be by there in 20 minutes to take a look at your yard and give you a price. So I go by, look at the price, tiniest yard, you know, not of all time, but really small yard, which is great. I give him my minimum price because I'm already in the neighborhood, tiny yard, flat, virtually no problems with it. Ideal situation. He already tells me he wants to go ahead and pay for the year with a 5% discount. I give him the price, calculate on the phone. He writes me a check for the whole year, sign him up, good to go, perfect. These are the kind I'm wanting to add, okay? This is what I'm wanting to do. And as I was, over the course of the winter, been replacing some of the customers that don't pay on time or have a big property, and I go up on them and they cancel on me. In my mind, I might sometimes get a little discouraged. I lost somebody, but today's like today. I'm like, I got 5 quotes today in early January. There's gonna be so many quotes. I mean, looks like at least I'm gonna predict there's gonna be a lot of quotes this spring. So I just got to be selective. So when I can get a small yard in the neighborhood I'm already established in, that's great. All right, then I come home, I want to eat lunch. I'm like, I'm not getting a lot of production done, just to be honest with you, because I'm running around giving quotes. I come home, eat lunch, somebody emails me. They email me. I've got a form on my website where they can fill out, and it has their name, address, all that in there. They live in the same town I do. I know exactly the neighborhood they're in. What happens when I get those emails, I don't want to email them back. I mean, you know, I want to get them on the phone as quickly as possible. So they email me all their contact information. I get it, and I call the lady. Well, it goes to voicemail. She probably doesn't recognize the number and just didn't answer. So I text their number. I said, hey, this is Jason with Alabama Lawn Pros. I got your request for a quote. I'd love to come by and take a look at it. She replies back. She says, wow, that was fast, you know, because she just filled out the form like 5 or 10 minutes ago. She said, wow, that was fast. And I said, I'm going to come over there and take a look at it and give you a price. She said, well, just leave me the price on the door. I don't like leaving the price on the door, okay? I don't want to just run around, people that are price shopping, run around and just hang something on their door, 50 bucks, here it is, take it or leave. I mean, that's not what I'm into. I text back, I said, would it be okay for me to call you and discuss your lawn with you? She said, yes, that'd be fine. All right, so I go pull up at her yard. Now, tip here is I show up at her lawn probably 20 minutes after she filled out the online form. Now, I can't do that every situation, but because I have such a tight route and people are close by, I ate lunch and then I head over there and I'm there at her house. So if she's getting multiple quotes, I would almost guarantee I was the first one there, which I think gives you a little bit of an advantage. All right, so this lady, I don't know how much you guys try to read people when you're giving them a quote, but I pull up, I'm looking at the yard, okay, I see almost no weeds. And so I get a little hesitant. I'm like, what's going on? I mean, why are these people switching? And maybe it's a situation like before, people going up on their prices. So I look at it and I see her, she comes out actually. So I said, hey, I'm Jason, and if you don't mind me asking, what was going on with the previous company, why you decided to make a change? And she kind of hesitated a little bit, like she had to think about it. Well, because she said she'd been with them for years, and because I looked at the yard and I thought the yard looked great, to be honest with you. And one thing I did notice, and just being observational, as I got out of my truck, I saw some tiny little weeds that looked like they had been hand pulled. And actually, when we were talking to her, she reached down and pulled up a tiny little weed that was barely noticeable on the lawn. So she's a little bit meticulous. She told me she mows her own grass and she just bought a dethatcher, and she's going to be kind of meticulous about it. And she's canceling on the previous company when the yard looked pretty great. But this is almost an ideal situation. I mean, it's like a perfect yard, 4,000 square feet. I give her a good price because it's just the front yard only, nothing in the back. So no fences, no dogs, no nothing. I mean, it's just flat, almost no landscaping in the way. And these are the kind of yards I want in the neighborhood I want. So I really want this yard, but I give her, a fair price according to my pricing chart. And she kind of looks at it, thinks about it, and it's one of these deals where she's going to let me know. And so I don't know if it was my price was, more than she was looking to spend, potentially more than what she was paying already. Maybe she wants to get multiple quotes. But I really try to, again, to me, what you do is what I did. You respond quickly. You act excited about the business. Like, yes, can I come over and look at it right now? Like, if you don't want the yard, don't even waste their time. Don't pretend like you do. But if you want the business, let the customer know you want the business. Pretend like you're excited about the opportunity. Show up with a little bit of enthusiasm about yourself and talk to her. And so I'll tell her I want the business, and I don't want to appear desperate, but these are exactly the kind of yards I want. Well, but at that point, all you can do is give a price, there is a little bit concerned about her, canceling on a company that had her yard looking great. Now they're hand picking minuscule weeds. So, it may be good that I end up not getting it, but we'll see. Maybe she'll reply back. I text her the information, the quote, so she can have it. And if she wants to reply back tomorrow and say, yeah, we're going to go with you, or she may get multiple quotes. And, if that's the case, somebody looking to save $3, I'm probably not their person. All right, so that was 4 quotes all around by, roughly 12 o'clock. Then I think I got to get some work done. So I go in there and I start spraying yards, and I'm knocking yards out and feeling good. The weather's great today. And then I get to my last yard of the day, and I'm spraying, and this guy comes pulling in the driveway, and he's honking the horn. And I'm thinking he's honking the horn at whoever's inside. I kind of glanced back at him and kept spraying, and he honked again. And I looked back, and I figured out he was honking at me, which I'm not big on people honking their horn at me. But anyway, he rolls down the window. He was polite. He lived right up the road, a few houses up. And he says, "Is this your company?" I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Would you mind giving me a quote?" I said, "Sure, let me finish this yard, and then I'll head over there and give you a quote." So what that tells me is this: sometimes just being out there working gives you the opportunity to get more business. Like fishing. I mean, you got to go fishing to catch fish, And so I'm out there working. I'm out there in the neighborhood being seen, and neighbors are out, especially in the springtime. I like to tell people to start business. If you get out there in the spring on a Saturday and there's just people out, and if you're out there working, people see you and they say, "Hey, would you mind giving me a quote too?" And me a quote. And a lot of times it's neighbors, so you can get multiple neighbors on the same street, which is awesome. So this guy, is 3 or 4 houses up from the yard I'm doing. He knows his neighbors. He knows they're using me. He's sitting there watching me do the yard. So I give him a quote. Same situation. His company had went up on him. His yard looked really meticulous. Kept the shrubs up really nice and everything. I could tell just by being around him. A little bit older guy, I can tell he keeps all his stuff in order. So I give him a price, measure his yard, not a little bit of broken up with like sidewalks and circle drive and all that, but not a bad yard by any means. Had been taken care of for years, so it's not like covered in weeds or anything like that. And definitely he's already indicated he wants to pay for the year. I give him a price. He says he's got to talk it over with his wife and will get back with me. Now, so out of 5 customers, I've got 3 that are going to get back with me. I feel like I'm going to get this last guy. He's just got to talk it over his wife. I kind of feel like tomorrow I'm going to hear from him. That's prediction. I feel my chances are good of getting him. The other 2 that I'm waiting to hear back from, the lady with the front yard is almost ideal, and the other guy that had a flat yard is 3 minutes out of my territory. I think, like I said, I'm going to throw 30% chance out that I get one or the other of those. And then the other 2 are people I had a relationship with, and for whatever reason, it hadn't worked out in the past, or that one guy had sold his house, the other guy was just waiting to make a switch to me. I got both of them. So I got 2 out of 5. Feel real good about getting a 3rd out of 5. The other 2, not so sure about. But for me, it's about, did I add on the right customer? I'm not trying to just max out numbers, max out revenue. It's like on a football team, if you got a 53-man roster and you got 50 good players, I need to fill those 3 spots, and I'm not just going to fill them with somebody out of the crowd. I want somebody who can contribute. So I need, I have a limited space. I'm going to get a lot of quote opportunities, sounds like, this year. I want to make sure I put the right customers in there. Yards I like, close to my other yards, priced right. and I'm okay if my conversion percentage goes down. When I've started the business, I need to get numbers. I needed, to be stacking customer after customer after customer. So my pricing was a little more aggressive. I'm trying to just get off the ground. Now that I'm established, I'm not going to go lowball prices just to stack more numbers on top of numbers. I'm looking for specific customers, specific type of yards in specific neighborhoods. All right, that's my story. That was my day. I did knock out maybe 15 yards today, but felt good being back out there spraying my pre-emergent prodiamine and getting that on the ground. I got to get through all my yards hopefully by mid-February. The weather's a challenge. Like I said, we had snow yesterday, and also dealing with getting quotes. So just trying to get prepared, get out there, get my work done, and when I get a quote, I want to be quick to respond. I want to be the first one there. If they're getting multiple quotes, I want to show up first, okay? And I want to talk to them face to face in their yard, worst case scenario on their phone. I don't want to hang a quote on their door and walk away. That's not me, okay? I want to talk to them and see if it's going to be a fit, and I want to sell them on why they should let me take care of their yard. If I see a weed in their yard, I'm going to talk to them about that weed, what the name of the weed is, trying to sell myself as a qualified professional who can take care of their yard. And I want them to see and feel the enthusiasm that I want to take care of their yard. Now, I'm not jumping up and down like I'm not that energetic of a human, okay? But they can tell if I know what I'm doing, at least to some degree, and they can tell that I want the business, and that's what I'm trying to portray to that potential customer. If you're looking to start a business, go to lawncarelife.com. A lot of resources there, video courses, documents. There's the Weed Control and Fertilization Academy, Lawn Business Master Academy, Mosquito Spraying Academy. I've got documents, programs, pricing charts, all kind of stuff. lawncarelife.com. There's also over 800 videos on the channel. If you hadn't checked those out, I would encourage you to do so now. You can also follow me on Instagram, The Lawn Care Life on Instagram. Appreciate you watching. Leave me a comment below, and I will talk to you later. Bye.